Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the special edition episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Boomstick XL, and as you have already known, you're going to get 90 plus minutes of the best Xbox news you can find on YouTube. And with me to help me along with this journey, you know him as Insipid Ghost, but I know him as Luke. Hey, man, thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate being on every time I can be on to join you. And my life is one big meeting now. So I'm technically on lunch break and having a blast, man. I'm super excited to chat some Xbox.
No, it's great to have you here. And we also have, now you might notice that Zemi Games is not here today. Hopefully he'll be back on Thursday. Right now he's fighting a really vicious migraine. So he kind of just wanted to do what most migraine sufferers like myself and him do. Close the lights, put an ice pack on your head, and forget the world exists and take as much medication as you can until it's numb. So hopefully he will definitely be feeling better. Mr. Badbit is going to be taking his place today. Hey, dude, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. I definitely needed this, so I can't wait to chat Xbox, which is weird. It's like I've been talking more Xbox than PlayStation recently, and I'm kind of digging it, man. We're hours away from the Inside Xbox review.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. You know what? Before we get into, of course, the topics, I kind of want to just do a little bit of a boomstick rant here, which I'm not going to curse. At least I'm going to try. You know, last night on the new episode of Primetime Gaming, we had over 350 people watching live, which is big. And one of the major topics for the show was the potential rumor about the PlayStation 5 overheating. And this obviously has been making the rounds on numerous podcasts. I certainly wasn't the first one to discuss it, and I'm probably not going to be the last. But here is where the rant comes in. I have noticed that by me even addressing the potential of the PlayStation 5 having issues, somehow or another, I have wronged the PlayStation toxic assholes of the community, because I've not only received ridiculous amounts of messages saying, how dare you, Boomstick, give this so-called Twitter user credence with his lies. And my response has been, you know, I try not to get in the middle of controversy, not because I don't enjoy it, because quite frankly, I don't. I don't look for a fight, but though I will not back down from one. And one of the things that kind of aggravates me or even sickens me to the point of nauseum is the fact that when it's about Xbox, we are allowed to browbeat and finger point and name shame and do whatever it is that makes you as a human being, pathetically as a human being, feel good about piling on the rabbit called Xbox. And it's come to my attention that seems to be almost taboo that you should, God forbid, you should say anything negative about PlayStation. God forbid you should even question what they're doing. So that is just about my rant of the day, and I apologize because, you know, obviously some people are going to be in the chat. They're going to be like, "Oh, boom! Who is it? Who's the a-hole?" You know what?
It was me, guys. It was me.
No, it's actually not. You're not you. I wouldn't put out the person's name because it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
My point of the show is basically to provide information, and like most podcasts, like most articles that are written and recorded and produced, they are some of them have a significant amount of opinions behind the content, and that's okay. That's what makes talking about video games fun. Yeah. And unfortunately, it seems to be the trend of this particular generation and moving into the next generation that if you are an Xbox player, which I am first, if you give me a choice of 3 consoles, 1 game, and it's available on all three. I'm going to pick Xbox. That's just the way it is because that's where I like to play, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. No. I think that, and I think I've been very fair and very clear about enjoying Sony for their exclusives and Nintendo for their exclusives. But where I lay my head at night at home is on the Xbox platform. Nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But again, I'll go to bring it to my guests. Bad, anything you'd like to add to this? I mean,
we were talking about this before the show. Like, first and foremost, gang, here's a fun one. All right. About what was it, a year or two ago? Time's an enigma. I talked about Labo. It was my first impressions, and I was just like, guys, after seeing this video, I don't think it's the right direction for Nintendo. I don't think this thing's going to succeed, and here's my reasons as to why. Not bashing it, just going, hey, I don't think parents are going to be down for spending $100 on essentially cardboard. And the amount of hate I got for that video, trying to be as respectful as possible, was almost hilarious. And that's where I got my first death threat. Was on a Labo video, and I hang my hat on that.
Jesus.
Yeah. So people really care about stuff, and
that's right over a piece of cardboard.
Exactly. So, like, for me, it's like it's seriously it's a splash in the pan. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing too major for me when it comes to like haters or fanboys. I don't call people Xbox or like Sony ponies or Nintendo, whatever.
I don't like saying that either. To me,
I just put them in this camp that are just, they're fanboys and they don't want a rational conversation or a third dimensional conversation. So like for me, I'm just like, whatever. Like if I see one of those nasty comments, I'm just like, you're not here for my content. You're just here to bitch and moan. So I'm just gonna mute you and goodbye. When it comes to also the overheating issue, like again, we were talking about this before, guys, it is a slow news week. We want to talk about things. This is something to talk about.
Are you there, brother? Okay, real quick, let me just we'll come back to you in a second. Insipid Ghost, are you there? Oh no, he's having issues, unfortunately. We've been kind of dealing with this the last 10 minutes. He's muted. I don't know if he knows he's muted. I don't know if he can hear us. I know we certainly can't hear him, but we'll bring Luke back into the conversation in a second. But yeah, I got to be honest with you. That to me is wow, a death threat. No, at least thank God I haven't had any of those.
Yeah,
maybe because they realize I'm an ex-police officer and threatening me in that manner might be. I'll find you. And you'll get locked up. I'll put it to you that way.
There you go. I'll call. You know what? I'll be like, listen, you threaten me one more time, I'm gonna get Boomstick in here. He's a cop.
That's called aggravated harassment. And yes, I do have friends in the FBI. So let's just say that.
You heard that, toxic folks?
No toxicness. Let's see if Luke, do you hear us, sir? Oh no, he's still muted. Okay, this is not the way we expected to start the show. Let me just throw him a Joe. If you, Mr. Bad, if you wouldn't mind, just throw him a message. Let him know that he's muted, and maybe that's why he's talking and we can't hear him. But you know what? What I want to do is I want to get into, of course, why we're all here. We're here to talk about gaming, but more specifically, we're here to talk about the Xbox gaming community because this is an Xbox show. And I want to open up with, 2 weeks ago on the Iron Lords podcast, they were fortunate enough to have Bill Stillwell of Microsoft come on the show for the entire show, which was awesome. And we now know that Project xCloud, which is the next big thing for Microsoft, he was the head dude, so to speak, over there. And he unfortunately is leaving the Project the xCloud team. But he's still staying within Microsoft, and he's moving on to the Xbox HoloLens team. And Bill Stillwell, obviously he was at the forefront of backwards compatibility. And when he wanted a bigger challenge, he jumped on to the team at Project xCloud. And if you listen to that interview, which I highly recommend everyone go and listen to at the Iron Lords podcast, He discussed that he's always looking to be challenged. And more specifically, in a story that I pulled from lordsofgaming.net, Bill Stillwell has already left his mark in what may be the biggest thing to come to modern gaming since the controller in Project xCloud. In fact, I dare say it will be a huge addition to Phil Spencer's plans to expand the reach of the Xbox brand into regions that normally they failed. You know what? This could be the start of something very special. But with that said, if Bill Stillwell's name doesn't ring a bell, and you are a fan of backwards compatibility, like I said a few seconds ago, he was the head of Xbox Backward Compatibility Initiative and was responsible for the hundreds of Xbox 360 and dozens of the Xbox OG coming to the Xbox One. When he decided to move on to the xCloud, the Project xCloud team, which has been very successful worldwide, and they're opening up to 7 more countries, which tells me that this thing is rolling strong. Oh, here's Luke. Let's get you in here. So I mean, listen, all I can say is that yes, it is going to be a bit of a loss for Project xCloud, but I think that if you listen to the interview, he was very satisfied with the direction and leadership that's going to be there in his place, and that it's going to be full steam ahead. Now that he's moving on to the HoloLens AR/VR, there's some interesting talk behind this, Joe, and of course, Luke. Could the Xbox actually, at some point or another, the Xbox Series X, get VR or at least AR? And that's a great question. I mean, look, I'm going to say this. He is, being that he is had tremendous success in his ideas with backwards compatibility and now Project xCloud, I think it would behoove Microsoft, meaning Phil Spencer, that if he thought that AR/VR could work on the Xbox Series X, that he would probably listen to this. And I mean, let me get Mr. Badbit in. Yeah. First of all, we talked about this a couple of shows ago about whether or not Microsoft needs VR. Now, I'll be the first one to say that as important as VR is as a medium, I don't necessarily think that they need it, though I would be happy to have it. Right. What are your thoughts on Bill Stillwell moving over to the AR/VR team?
Well, I think so. I'm a huge fan of VR. I was a skeptic at the beginning, and I don't blame anyone who is still a skeptic of the power of VR. I totally get it. It's a very young platform. It's still a growing platform in terms of technology. I always take the Shuhei quote of when they announced PSVR was going to be a commercial thing, that this is a test. This is PlayStation 1 in terms of where they're at with this technology, and we're growing with them. Seeing VR grow as the last few years have shown with things like the Index or things like the Oculus Quest, to me, I love it. I think VR, and the more people in VR, the better. And I think the more cross-pollination of developers and games into each other's ecosystem is only better for gaming and for VR in a whole. With that said, Microsoft doesn't need to go into VR in terms of the Xbox brand. Xbox doesn't need it. You know, I remember when I was a kid, like wanting an Xbox handheld. What would an Xbox handheld be? What would a Game Boy X look like? You know what I mean? That never really happened until right now with xCloud. So for me, you know, looking at that, they didn't lose anything out of that. Right. They didn't make a watered down Halo for a handheld. No, they waited until the technology was right for them, and then that's when they started to innovate. And that's what xCloud is, at least how I see it. So again, being a huge PlayStation guy, I'm supposed to sit here and tell you this is a huge loss, but it's not. It really isn't. For me, I think Microsoft's direction and Bill's direction with AR and VR is on the PC end. I think, yeah, maybe they might dabble with games and experiences, but I'm also thinking of how they could innovate in the entertainment sphere right now. Like you could watch like WWE in VR and like some basketball games. I would like to see how Microsoft innovates there, how they expand there. And then when it comes to the production and the private sector and the utilities that Microsoft is known for, like that's what their bread and butter is right now. And so to see them like earlier this morning, I was looking at they called it, I think, digital production, where this person literally had a camera and using this AR technology in the camera, he was able to manipulate the in-game camera for this model and get the right shot that he wanted for this just video game character in game. That was super cool. Now, where they take that, who even knows?
It's going to be, I put it this way, Joe, it's going to be interesting to see if some of that technology makes its way into actual games.
Yeah. And like, to me, like how like in a production side, if you're working on a movie or you're working on a TV show, being able to just like minority report a production that you see in your head and have it kind of realized right there in front of you what it's going to look like. I think that's where Microsoft's taking VR and AR. And I think that's really the exciting part. Like even having it so like maybe doctors can use it as practice or you know, whatnot. Like that technology is a really cool thing to think about. So I think Microsoft sees the enhancements over in the game side, and they're like, yeah, we can do that, and we can put a Halo in VR, but what could we do besides all that? And then having to compete with a PlayStation VR or Oculus or whatever have you, why not we take VR, which is this niche product, and then just go into another direction that not a lot of other people are going in. You know, like Google Glass, Google glasses, they're still being used, but in the private sector for doctors.
Right.
So like, that's, I think, where Microsoft's taking it. And I think, again, fanboys are just waving that flag in the air because they feel like they have to, and they don't, because corporations don't care about you. And then like, I always see it's so funny, but like I'm not getting a check from Shuhei anyway, but like, stop waving the flag. Stop. Phil Spencer, yeah, probably doesn't see VR as essential to the brand yet. Doesn't mean that's going to change. It doesn't also mean that his philosophy has to be set in stone.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, things change. You know, you got to remember, this is the same guy that said they didn't like showing games too far out a couple of years ago. And his ideology has severely changed, where they're now more comfortable showing games further out, and that we're going to get a new game to be displayed almost, according to his words, at every event. So yes, ideologies change, and we could eventually potentially get VR. Do I think that Microsoft is going to create their own headset to go? No, I think it would probably behoove them to partner up with an Oculus Quest, right? You know, have a
like we're seeing it with like Logitech and like HP, where
yes, HP is another one that they recently have teamed up with. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's like again, Microsoft is, I know they make awesome hardware, but they're a software company first.
Yes, yep.
So if they could take a company like HP and go, hey, listen, HP, you know how to make this stuff. Throw it together and we'll make the software, we'll make the UI. That's really cool. And I think what a lot of people in the chat, same with me, I kind of do think that the future is more AR than VR. And I like that Microsoft's taking that initiative and just doing something different. Again, it doesn't have to be in video games. You know, that doesn't excite me in the least. But like having the ability to, like, I don't know, we've never been on the moon before, but like taking high fidelity shots of the moon via like a moon rover, and then putting a headset on and then living on the moon, like getting what would be the
pretty interesting. Yeah,
that sounds rad. That just came off the top of my head. Like being able to do like virtual toys, being able to, like, again, give practice to medical physicians, and definitely in times like this, you're going to need that. Like, I think that's really cool. And I think maybe if because there has to be hope in VR in the sense that there are still billion-dollar companies still pouring money into this thing, trying to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it also gives me hope that billion-dollar companies are throwing money to get VR into maybe not homes, but private sector. And I think just because your product isn't a commercial product, quote unquote, doesn't mean it's not successful. Again, you could do well in the private sector. You could do well in like in something like a production or whatnot.
Okay. So I mean, Luke is currently still having some issues. He can't hear me. He can hear Joe for some reason. And before it was the opposite. He could hear me just fine. You know what? Do me a favor,
Yeah.
Joe. Would you mind dropping out? And I'm going to send you. Click the new link.
Okay.
And see if we could get you on the same page, or we'll have both of you drop out. You know what? Let's do this.
Okay.
Let me send you guys a new link together, and you guys jump on the same link. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Find him. I hate having problems live on the air, but this
happens.
This happens. We're gonna get through it. I'm sending you both a new link. Let's see if we can get you guys on the same page.
I'll shoot you real fast.
All right. So as they try to figure this out, we are going to continue. I'm actually going to run a solo show for a second. So yeah, I mean, look, let me just say this. I think that it's very obvious. I'm a big supporter of VR. I own 2 of them. I own PlayStation VR. I proudly support that. I'm a little disappointed that Iron Man VR got delayed because I think that's going to be special. I think that's going to be a very unique and different type of game. It's certainly the first time we're going to be able to play a superhero game in VR, especially on that platform. The Oculus Quest I continue to support. I love the fact that it's wireless.
Do you own one?
What, a Quest? Yeah, I own a Quest and PlayStation VR. I'm both, and I love them. I love them equally.
I'm very tempted to get the Quest.
It is. Let me just say this. It is really unbelievable the way it works. It's its own entity. It's wireless. You don't need a living room that's 18 by 18 to have fun in it. Yeah. You literally spray paint the floor of what your area of play is, and somehow or another the number crunching is done within the actual headset that you're wearing, and it completely just does everything else for you. I think it's a tremendous win for that VR unit, and I'm glad to have it. I'm glad to have it. I don't have a PC because I know a lot of people have been using that particular VR unit to play Half-Life Alyx. I don't have a PC, a beefy enough PC to run it, because you can get the link cable and use that to play that title, which is probably it might actually make people's game of the year list. I don't know. I've only seen video of it, so I can't say. But
every time I see the hand cock the gun, I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool. Because you're seeing it with 2 fingers do it. And I know that sounds so super stupid to anybody in the chat, but like if you put on a VR headset, you know that like hands just clamp like a weird, like it just doesn't feel like hands should. So seeing the finger movement always blows my mind. Yeah, I'm like, we're one step closer to the real Power Glove, you know.
Yeah. Well, listen, let me just make a quick announcement. Joe, it's gonna be me and Mr. Badbit. Apparently Luke is having some serious issues with his PC, and he's gonna give it another college effort try here. Let's see if we can Luke, are you back, sir?
Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee. Now we lost him. It's fun. It's going to be an intimate show. You know?
I mean, listen, I've done these shows with. Actually, this show was originally born on just me and one other person. He says it's infuriating and embarrassing. Sorry, dude. Now listen, dude. These things happen. Yeah. It's okay. We will continue with showbiz. That's just the way it works, right?
Yeah, and please, everybody, go over to Luke. Check out his channel at The Insipid Ghost on Twitter.
Yes.
His podcast. He's had amazing interviews, the likes of Andrea Renee and the likes of the Twisted Pixel, right? I think their name is.
Yes.
The creators of Dead Cells, and they're fantastic. If you love the Xbox ecosystem, he dives deep into Game Pass with them. It's fantastic. So.
Yeah, well, real quick, a big shout out to Elemental Pio. He says, I miss the Welsh gamer. Yes, the Welsh gamer right now is he's doing daddy duties. His missus is a nurse, and obviously being a healthcare worker, he just doesn't have the time to podcast. And once we get this world pandemic situation under control, he will, of course, be coming back to his seat, and of course, Zemi will be joining him, and maybe we'll have other guests on a regular basis. But just closing. I mean, again, I don't want to spend too much time on this topic because there's not much to say. I do want to read a statement from Bill Stillwell from his official Twitter account. He says this: "The cat's out of the bag. Sadly, leaving Xbox, but not going far. Moving over to the team that makes HoloLens, going to focus on producing world-class consumer AR/VR experiences in the Microsoft ecosystem." Dope. Now, I'm glad that he worded it like that and didn't say the Xbox ecosystem, because people would have, of course, attacked him for when we getting VR. Look, I'll say this: if VR does come to the Xbox Series X, I will gladly welcome it. I will purchase the unit. Again, I don't see Microsoft producing that unit. I can see them teaming up with someone and having them build it, whether it be HP, whether it be the Quest, whether it be something from Samsung, who knows? But it's going to be interesting. I mean, and in closing thoughts, Mr. Badbit, do you believe at this particular junction that VR is actually needed on the Xbox Series X?
No, not at all. Again, they'll wait until the time is right, and if very big asterisks, because a lot of people, we see people in the chat going, VR is dead, and I'm like, I don't have any.
It's not actually dead. I got to be honest.
But yeah, who knows where it'll be in 5 years? Could be in the ground. It could be the next big thing. But I will say this: we're so close. We're on the cusp, people.
Of the holodeck?
even more than the holodeck. Boom, I don't know if you're a big Dragon Ball Z fan, but my childhood screams for having the Scouter, and that's what tells everybody's power level in the Dragon Ball Z universe.
That would be dope.
We're one step away. So,
man. So the
do you really want to trash
glasses,
this?
they do kind of look like that. You know what I'm saying?
Just like, boom, it hooks onto your ear, bam, and then you're like, it's the dopest thing I've ever seen in my life as a kid,
Yeah, I mean, look, I am very excited for VR as a medium. I think that there is a lot of stories to be told. I think that with each passing title that is released, they are getting better and better equipped to tell stories that can be done in a way that doesn't seem like a cash grab. A perfect example, I think, of the future or the potential future is what you said. Half-Life Alyx is the first, I guess, blockbuster title that, I mean, again, if you want to go out and spend $1,000 on Valve's headset, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you a pat on the ass and send you on your way. I like the fact that it's not locked behind that particular device. I think that it makes sense to sell that game because software is what makes hardware. And I think that if it was locked behind that one piece of tech, it would be a sad day in gaming. I like the fact that Valve, well, again, Valve likes money, right? They love making money. I think everyone likes making money. So having it available, for the masses, so to speak, it's exciting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the next company, whether that be Microsoft, whether that be Sony, whether that be any of the big developers, come out with a VR title that is as big or substantial or genre defining, if you will, as Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah. I think Valve is also the perfect company to do this, since they are, first off, they're a private company, so they get a little bit more free will, and then secondly, Steam makes them so much money that I mean, it proves they don't need to make games anymore, so they get even more creative freedom of like, let's just make games that we think are cool and what tech we think is cool. And they look at VR and they're just like, we want to make video games for this. We want to push the boundaries. We want to make this a viable platform. And if anybody can do that, it is Valve. They've done it before with Half-Life as well. So like, it's awesome. This is more power to you. I think this is badass.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Let me just move on to let's move on to the next topic, which I think is going to be fun. I don't necessarily know how many people are looking forward to Minecraft Dungeons. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big Minecraft dude. Like, same. It's just not for me, right? And that's fine. Again, not every game is for every gamer. But many in the Xbox community are looking towards the future right now, with big releases that include Halo Infinite, Forza Motorsport 8, Gears Tactics, which you're going to get some information on that later on today, which I cannot wait for, Hellblade 2, and so many others. Though there is one game that many people have left off of the radar. That game is Minecraft Dungeons, and even being officially delayed a final time due to, of course, the COVID-19 situation, Microsoft digs up a solid release date, exciting many fans of the world-renowned Minecraft. Now, in a story that I pulled from WCCF Tech, they're reporting that, unfortunately, the game has been pushed back one final time, with Mojang confirming that the new release date and delay is due to current world issues that are beyond the developer's control. Though there is an upside to this announcement, because Minecraft Dungeons now has a solid May 28th release date. And if you've been keeping up with Minecraft Dungeons, here is the official rundown and press release of exactly what we're going to be getting. It says this: unite, fight, survive, fight your way through an all-new action-adventure game inspired by classic dungeon crawlers and set in the Minecraft universe. Up to 4 friends can play together, or you can brave the dungeons alone. Battle new and nasty mobs across action-packed, treasure-stuffed, widely varied levels, all in an epic quest to defeat the evil Arch-Ilger. And it says here, unite, brave the dungeons alone, or team up with friends. Now, look, I'm going to say this. This topic is almost like I guess a 2-tiered topic, because I think that Minecraft Dungeons, even though some may consider it, well, that's not really AAA. It's not what I was looking for, Boom. I hear you. I know that you want Uncharted on the Xbox, or a game like that. I get it. I understand it, because I want it too. But you can't deny the draw of what Minecraft does financially for Microsoft, being that they have made their money probably 2 times over since purchasing Mojang a couple of years ago, but not resting on their laurels is what's interesting about this story, Mr. Badbit, because this is a completely different way of using that Minecraft IP and making it into a Diablo-style game with loot. Sounds extremely interesting. Now, we've seen video of it, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah. What are your thoughts on what they're doing with this?
I'm also not a Minecraft guy, but when I saw this at E3, I think, was it last year? Yeah. So like, I was totally on board. I'm like, this is cool. This is a cool spin-off of taking a game that people know and love, and then making something totally unique out of it. It's why I do love Halo, and why I'm so excited about Gears Tactics. Is like, hey, we don't need to confine Halo as just this awesome, you know, first-person shooter. We can also make an RTS, and I love a good RTS.
Nothing
We
wrong
can
with
make,
that.
yeah, we can make Gears of War into something like a tactics-based game, and I love me some XCOM. And then seeing Minecraft going, we could take this IP that makes billions of dollars, and we can make just a nice little like digital game where it's kind of Diablo meets Minecraft. It's going to be probably simple for the kids to enjoy. Like, I'm all in for that. And it's awesome to see that Microsoft is giving this studio the time that they need to push this out there, because this is a day one not buy, because I think it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass day and date, yes.
Yeah, this is a day one play for me. I'm very excited about it.
I joined the beta. I haven't been accepted yet. I know some people have been accepted to the beta, which is currently ongoing. But you know, I'm gonna say this real quick. I have to thank Sin Vendetta for being here, but more importantly, his outstanding generosity, because he drops a $5 super chat and says this. I will say this about Minecraft Dungeons. It looks like a lot of fun. And you know what? At the end of the day, #fun. I think that's why we play games. At least that's why I play games. And I think Mr. Badbit would agree there. But I'm going to say this. I want to bring this back around to the second part of this two-tiered question/topic. Mm-hmm. Now, we talked at the beginning of this show about how Bill Stillwell was the team lead for Project xCloud. And in that conversation, Mr. Badbit, we talked about the genre-defining new thing for gaming that we've never seen before. Now, we've seen it in some form with Sony's Remote Play, right? Where you can launch your PlayStation 4 and play on a mobile device. But Project xCloud takes things to 11. Yeah. And I think that this particular game has the potential to be the killer app for Project xCloud, because as we know, the younger generation, right, the newer gamers, and I want to say that's anywhere between 15 and under, grew up playing on their iPads and on their mom and dad's iPhones. So it's become customary to them where, yes, a controller doesn't feel foreign in their hand, but a phone and tablet feel fine as well, equally. They can easily pick up their controller for their PlayStation or their Xbox or their Nintendo Switch and have a good old time on the TV. But this is where the difference is between the older generation, like myself, the old bastard in the room, versus these young generation. They can easily pick up a phone or tablet, play there, and get the same exact fun factor. Whereas for me, I don't know if I want to play on a phone. Again, it's the old dog.
No, I'm right there with you, dude. Like I'm. Like, to me, I'm sorry if I'm...
No. Yeah, this is a conversational podcast. Jump on in.
For me, I don't... I'm going to be real with the audience. I have no ounce of, like, desire to play Halo or Gears of War on my phone. That's not where I want to play those games. I want to play them on a big screen. I want to play them with my headsets. Which, speaking of headsets, I got the SteelSeries Arctis 7s. I'm a headset gamer. I don't know about you. For the first,
I played with games that require the use of it, like Hellblade, for instance. Resident Evil would be one that I would use it for. Not for every game, though.
Okay, for me, that's how I play, because I want the world out of my, I want to get fully into the game I'm playing. Nice. I never understood, PlayStation sound like a Jet fan, until like a few days ago. I had my headsets off. I walked in the room. I'm like, what's so freaking loud? I look at my PlayStation. I'm like, oh, that's what people are talking about. Yeah, this is way too. How do you game without headsets on a PlayStation? Nonetheless, that's what I want. I want to be fully immersed. I want headsets in. I want to watch on the big TV. But for my Switch, for those, I would even say smaller experience, but there are unique experiences here that I think the mechanics are more simplistic, that understand the form factor. I think Minecraft Dungeons is a awesome get for Xbox in terms of throwing it on xCloud and seeing how that game does run, because you're dead on the money. Again, I don't want to play my games on a phone, genuinely. Like, that's just my Twitter machine. But seeing a kid who's like ages 6 through 15, 18, whatever the case may be, they're accustomed to gaming on the phone. They're accustomed to having that visual fidelity and whatnot. And so to have that on the phone and then having like what could be like, the Xbox Joy-Cons attaching to either side of your phone, or just the clip that clips onto it.
Yeah.
That's an awesome get. I think that is an awesome get. I think that could be a killer app that they can kind of market and kind of test the waters where, hey gang, like, you could play Minecraft Dungeon, or probably market it like you could play Gears of War, you could play Halo, or you could play Minecraft. And like,
no, absolutely.
You have all those types of games, and you kind of could analyze what games people are playing and how longer are their play sessions. And I think you might see Minecraft Dungeons be the one that's going to be playing longer, because for me, I play Animal Crossing. I love it. I owe that raccoon $750,000 for a room. Are you kidding me, Tom Nook? But like, I play it on my Switch Lite. I don't want to play it on my TV. So there's this difference in this balance that I think Minecraft can find, and also mobile gaming can find, because I'm playing my Switch Lite a lot more than I've played my Switch in a really long time, because we're finally getting games that aren't these, half-baked or half measures. We're getting a full step. So I'm fully on board for this game. I can't wait. I'm not part of the xCloud beta, but
I am. I've been using it. I don't use it every day. I'm going to be the first one to tell you. Yeah. I think I think the ability to use the controller with the clip is nice. Yeah. It's not the way I enjoy playing, because, the controller and the phone together are they're I mean, listen, I have big hands. It's before the pandemic, I was in the gym every day, so I do work out, but it's heavy in your hands. Whereas I would like what you just talked about. Razer actually had something that my wife bought me for Christmas, where you kind of put the controllers on the side. Kind of like the Joy-Con. Only problem is the phone that I have, which I have the S10 Samsung, it didn't support it came with 3 cases that you could use, and none of the 3 cases worked. So I had to send it back. Otherwise, it would have been really good. It literally would have made a Switch Xbox. What we've heard is, and Phil Spencer has actually talked about this, is right now they are working with some third-party developers to create something that I suppose is going to be Xbox branded for your phone. I'm hoping it's something that simply just pulls apart and form fits onto your phone, making it more accessible to any phone, big or small, going in there.
And they would be wise to, maybe even like talk to people like outside the realm, maybe, that understand phone form factor, like talking to someone like an OtterBox, going, okay, so like, what do we need to do? Yes. How do we partner with you? And kind of having like a joint partnership, like dream scenario. I'm thinking big here, gang. All right. You think big or don't think at all. That's what I'm saying.
I like it.
Microsoft, Razer, OtterBox are all working together. They're going to make, the next, partnered together to make the next big thing, big accessory for your phone. I think that's a direction I'd like to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think if they're not going to come out with their own technical handheld, which, the X-Boy as has been called for many, many years, this is the next best thing. But why I find it intriguing is because we're now, look, I'll say this. When Phil Spencer first got promoted to his new position that he's currently the head of Xbox, right? The Xbox division. And he's sitting on the right hand of Satya Nadella. A lot of his projected visions for the Xbox brand were not clear. They were too far in the distance without having binoculars to see what he knew eventually was going to be the brand. Like, we as fans only saw it as being something blurry in the distance. And based on what we had at this point up until 2017, the Xbox brand wasn't sitting that well with a lot of longtime gamers. We were disappointed with management. We were disappointed with first party titles. And as the years progressed, through 2018, and I always harken back to this, Mr. Bedbit, that post E3 2018 is when the shift in the company was really visible to the fan base. Yeah. And we saw all the acquisitions. We saw that they understood that there was a hole in the first party development process. And there was and post E3 2018, we've now seen up until now, April 2020, a clear vision of what Microsoft wants to do in the future. And why it's interesting and why I decided to back end this topic with Minecraft is because Minecraft Dungeons is going to be one of those games, and I'm telling you right now, it's going to be in the top 10 right along Minecraft every month from the time it comes out in the MPDs, because Minecraft is a monster brand. But this is where the back end that I was talking about gets to the interesting part of this conversation, is that Project xCloud is being opened up to 7 more regions, 7 more countries.
I do want to say one thing.
Sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Someone did drop a super chat. Crazy Horse, $1.99. I like it. Razer is working on a Razer Kishi for xCloud,
Very nice.
It looks awesome.
Okay.
And see, Razer took my idea. They ran with it.
Damn it, Joe! You just missed the boat.
Well, you know what? Listen, that one's for free, Razer. Okay, next one. I expect residuals.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely got to get something on the back end. I mean, even if it's only 0.5%, 0.5% times $1 million is a lot of money. Still,
exactly. It looks awesome. It does. It looks like Xbox Joy-Cons.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. And I actually completely forgot that. So first of all, Crazy Horse, thanks for being here, dude. Super appreciate that. Of course, I appreciate the generosity, but more so bringing that into the conversation. That is awesome. So here's my thought process. What I like about the direction of Xbox, and I know there's going to be people like, you're an Xbot, Mr. Boomstick. Fine, if that's what you believe. But here is my principal thought process behind why I think that the Xbox brand is going to be in a different light, not only with its current fan base, but the growing fan base that could potentially come back to Xbox. Like I said, numerous podcasts, I think that this generation is going to be the first real generation where multiple consoles in the home is a thing. Now it's only the quote unquote, air quote, hardcore who have multiple consoles. I think that there's a potential, depending on how expensive these consoles wind up being, and if Microsoft is really pushing the envelope with the $300 console, the discless one, or Project xCloud, we could get more PlayStation players who necessarily that's their first brand of choice. And of course, that's fine, but they might want to dabble in the Xbox brand because of certain games that has, and the ability to play those games, one, on the go, it might interest them, or B, not really break the bank and buy a $300 Lockhart or Xbox Series S. You know what I'm saying?
They've done so much, and again, I run a PlayStation show. I should be just like, Phil Spencer's the worst, he's a liar, or whatever. And whatever people say, I don't care. But Xbox is doing so great for a company that does not have nearly the amount of IP that a Sony or Nintendo have, in terms of history.
Right.
They are the best at supporting the history that is there and the culture of Xbox itself through their 19 years of games. And I applaud Phil Spencer for being patient and being patient with us. Doing things that I thought for a good year at least, that oh God, Xbox games on PC, why would you do that? And then just seeing it doesn't matter. I go, oh, that's why he did it. Okay, I was wrong. Like that's awesome. And seeing xCloud and seeing how they're approaching it, and then seeing how they're approaching the Series X gives me hope that the next generation we are going to see a tighter race between Xbox.
I believe there is. Yeah, it's going to be close.
I think it's going to be closer. Do I think it's going to be, neck and neck? I hope so, like they are fighting for us, because when they're not fighting, when they're competing for your dollar, like Xbox is competing for your dollar,
right?
They'll make services like xCloud. They'll make services, like Game Pass. When they don't, you will see companies be complacent, and we're seeing Sony right now being complacent. And until they start talking, that's what they are right now. And so, like, when they're competing, we're all winning, and that's something that we have to.
People need to get out of their effing feelings with. Listen, I'm reading the chat as you're going on, Mr. Bad Bit, and I got to tell you, I'm not going to mention anybody, but the disappointment is growing in me. severely disappointment is growing on an almost daily basis, because the mere fact that someone gets themselves so goddamn twisted over someone else's opinion is, pardon my French, fucking frightening, to be honest with you.
Well, it's all part of tribalism, right? Like, we like our thing and we identify with it. We'll get the emblems on our icon screens, or the emblems on our wallpapers, or even crazy enough, we'll get them tattooed on ourselves. And that is also it's the worth of a brand. And sometimes we get a little bit too caught up in brands where we don't realize that all companies are great and all companies suck at the end of the day. That there is. All of it's a gray area, and where you play or where you prefer shouldn't be the end all be all of what is out there.
Yes, no, that's a great point. Real quick, I have to do a big shout out to the Living Flame. He says something very interesting. He said Phil Spencer's approach to the platform is like a reassuring pat on the back by your parents, or a warm bowl of soup on a cold winter's night. I love what's going on right now. And you know what? I want to elaborate on this particular magnificent thought that was put into print. Right now, as an Xbox guy or gal, if that's, you want to call yourself that, because I'm a gamer at the end of the day. Do I prefer Xbox? Sure, but I'm not going to not play Resident Evil 3 on the PlayStation 4 because I already owned it for the Xbox. My Xbox unfortunately took a shit, so I'm waiting for the new one that's going to be delivered on Friday. So guess what? A gamer, a real gamer, and I'm looking at you people, that are going to make comments later on, buys it on the PlayStation 4. I bought it 3 times. I got my collector's edition paid for, sitting behind glass I can't get at, and I'll get as soon as the GameStop opens up. And I didn't want to wait, and I've already beaten it twice.
Oh, damn! Did you?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I speed ran it. I started at 11 o'clock at night, took a break at near 1 o'clock in the morning, woke up the next morning, and finished it off. I beat it the second time around. 0 deaths, 2 saves, 2 hours and 57 minutes.
Oh, dude, I saved like 37 times.
Oh, the first time I saved 56 times.
Okay. I was such because there are parts in that game that I absolutely love, and I think it gets so much stronger as the game progresses.
Yeah, tremendous.
Like, I think it has an amazing opening, but there are like the first 2 chases with
Nemesis. They're serious, Sam.
Are so frustrating, because it's not like Mr. X, where when Mr. X cut in front of you, you could open up your map and go, oh wait, I can run around him. With Nemesis, they're like, no. You got that crappy dodge. Go for it. And I'm like, but it sucks. And they're like, we know you're gonna get hit.
You're dodging out of the way of him to get bitten by a vampire, by a zombie.
yeah. But at the end, like that, the final 40 minutes of that game, chef's kiss, because I've never played Resident Evil 3. I was too scared as a kid, and even a little bit too scared as an adult. And like the last 30 minutes or 40 minutes gave me like Alien 2 vibes, and I was so in on that.
Yeah, he just does not want to stop. He is the ultimate hunter. I mean, it's I'll put it to this way again. If maybe the 5 or 6 hours or the 7 hours or 10 hours is going to take you to play through it isn't, you don't feel it's worth your $60. I hear you. I'm not going to argue that fact.
I beat it in 5 hours. I'm like, I paid $60. I'm fine with this. This was a great 4 hours. I'm like, this is fantastic for me. Like,
yeah, no, it's look, you probably spent more on less in life.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But
I bought 2 worlds at full price.
But I digress from this. Yeah. I just want to close out with this. Mm-hmm. What I appreciate about the current Xbox vision is that no one is being left behind. And what exactly do I mean by that? I don't necessarily mean generational wise. Right. I mean that if you are a hardcore motherfucker, right, you are going to get the most powerful console. You're going to spend $500. You're going to be able to tout that tower of power, and you're going to be one happy sumbitch, right?
Yeah.
But if you are someone who enjoys playing games on a tablet and a phone, there's going to be something there for you.
It's totally platform
everyone is covered, meaning that they've opened up the magnificent umbrella that says Microsoft, and they're covering all of the gamers. So whether you're hardcore, Joe, or you are someone that only likes Minecraft on the phone, there's going to be something there for you. And I have to be honest with you, you have to applaud that.
Yeah, no, I definitely, that's the thing that gets me so excited about Microsoft is like, it's a platform agnostic approach. Look, if you want the most powerful thing, it's there. But if you have a Samsung or an iPhone, it's also there too. It's on your TV. It's, we get scared of the fact that one day we don't need to buy a console, and that Microsoft's opening that door to that possibility of one day you don't need a box. And I know that's a scary thought. We don't like change. I get it. But that's exciting for me, because when we talk about power, and I've seen it a few people going off in the chat, it's not about power. It's about messaging. How are you messaging yourself? Because when you see, the Xbox One X is available in Japan, it's available in South Korea, but it doesn't sell there. Why not? Well, because those people are more, or that culture is more mobile, right? They're all about playing on the go. Yes. And then you see xCloud, this service that way underpowered compared to the power of the Xbox One X, right? They have a better internet infrastructure there as well. So they're able to play on the go. And that's how people are playing Xbox. So Xbox is about, their messaging is so on point right now, where it's just play the way you want. Does that mean power? Sure, it does it. It's does that mean mobility? Sure, it does it. Does that mean you're playing on your PC? Sure, it does it. That's how they're answering back. It's giving you the choice what you want and how you want to experience it. And their messaging is so crystal clear, and it is so positive as well. And the one thing that I personally don't like is the lack of love towards things like the adaptive controller is amazing.
Oh my God.
It is. It is a literal $1 billion company saying, we're making this product that we know we are going to take a loss on big time. They know they're not going to turn a profit on these things, but they're but we will bring in gamers. We will bring in more people that don't have the ability to play games to be able to experience them. Like my sister-in-law, before this crisis, I was saving up to get her an adaptive controller because she doesn't have, she has nerve damage in her arms. So she can't effectively do a lot with her
controller.
Can't hold a controller. God forbid. No. So that controller is her way in to experience something other than nail polish videos on YouTube. And I think that is my favorite thing out of everything. It's not the Tower of Power. It is just saying to a young kid who was had a birth defect and just going, hey, listen, just because you were born this way doesn't mean you should be punished for it. Here's a way into gaming. If those commercials don't spark a little bit of joy in you, I don't know what type of human being you are.
I have to agree with you there. Some of the most interesting, obviously I'm on Twitter every day, and when you see these posts where they'll show someone who's never been able to play games before using one of these things, even for something like recently there was a post that there was a handicapped young female where she was using this adaptive controller to play Nintendo's new game. What the hell? with the animals on the island. Why can't I think of it?
Animal Crossing?
Yes,
Yeah.
she was playing Animal Crossing using the adaptive controller, and besides that being ridiculously awesome, that an Xbox product is being used to allow this beautiful young woman or young girl to experience something that we as gamers take for granted. Seeing the smile on her face was priceless. I absolutely had to comment on it, and seeing the joy that she was having from, again, folks, we take playing games for granted. We do. There's a lot of things that we take for granted. Going to the store and buying fucking toilet paper, it used to be a thing, right? Now, if you go into the supermarket, you'd be lucky to find dust, right? So we sometimes overlook the little things, and seeing the joy on her face, seeing her actually using this to play Animal Crossing, I'm going to say this, and if I get booed, that's fine. If you did not find this heartwarming in some way, whether that be big or small, oh my God, I gotta question your humanity. I really do. I'm not gonna call it anybody.
That's the thing that I push,
but
yeah, that's the thing I push Sony to do the most. Like Sean would never lie to me later. He that's an inside joke for some people out there. He was on record going, yeah, no, I'm disappointed that we didn't do that. And I think they're doing it better than us, and I think that was. And then I'm like, okay, well, then do it.
Then do it. Well, you know what? I like the fact that that Xbox or Microsoft allows for their controller to be used for other devices, for other input, for other consoles as an input device. Yeah. I think that is forward thinking. I think that when they say they want everyone to play, this is not just a slogan that someone made up in a boardroom. They actually mean it.
Yeah. They put their money where their mouth was on that one.
Yes,
that one makes me that makes me so happy, because at the end of the day, it's those moments that make me a gamer. It's not the emblem on the box, and that's why I love the adaptive controller so much.
You know what? Real quick, I know that we can go on all day, because I could talk about the adaptive controller. A good friend of the show, a very good friend. In fact, I would even dare say that he's a family member I've never met, in the Graphic God. He got one, and he's been using it, and he said it in the chat. It's a game changer, literally. So if you don't know anything about Graphic God, well, you know what? Why? Let me just bring up his information while we're talking about him. First of all, not only is he a real gamer, and I mean that not even facetiously. I actually mean that. He's an amazing artist. But what a lot of people don't know about the Graphic God is that even though he has both hands, one of his hands doesn't function as well. So he can beat you down in Mortal Kombat with one hand, which is unbelievable. I've seen it for myself. I wouldn't want to be the one that he spanked down, but he can do it. And he got himself an adaptive controller a couple of years ago. My wife and I wanted to thank him for everything that he's done for my channel. He's when I say he's gone beyond the Call of Duty, we purchased one, we sent it to where he lives, and he's been using it, obviously ever since. But I kind of just want to bring up, being that we're talking about him, I know right now the money's tough with everybody, and we don't know when the next paycheck, and it's scary. It's real scary. But I just want to throw this out there. Right now, Graphic God Productions is Jay's company, and he is an artist through and through. And all of the work that you see on my channel were all done by him. The intros, the outros, the banners, and his skills are limitless. And as you can see by the graphic I have up over here, I say that if you're interested in potentially starting a YouTube channel, and you want some information or some artwork done that's going to be done at a fair, reasonable price, but done professionally in a way that will wow your potential subscribers, he's definitely the one I would definitely contact. And his information is right here. Hit him up on Twitter at graphic_God. And of course, head over to xboxgamerpicks.com for your quote and see some of the work that he's done. He has done a significant part of this community, and he's as fair as they come. He's a good human being, which at the end of the day is really what matters. But his artwork skills are truly second to none. But if it's okay, Mr. Bedbit, I want to move on.
Let's do it, dude.
To the next topic. And of course, this one came in late. And it's one that I wanted to talk about because, Obsidian is a company, at least that when I think of them, I think of some classic RPGs, right? You can think of Knights of the Old Republic 2 for the OG Xbox. You can think of Fallout New Vegas, probably the best Fallout of all of the Fallouts is Fallout New Vegas, and of course the recent Outer Worlds, which was so fantastic. It's currently in Game Pass. I think it's in Game Pass.
It is.
Okay, I want to make sure. I totally forgot. But they just added some real AAA talent to their next AAA RPG. But real quick, let me just catch up with the super chats before I miss them, and I get very upset when I do. Okay, hold on just a second. Let me just make sure. Okay, so first of all, JD Gamer, a very good friend of the show, he drops a $2 super chat and says this, dropping through to say hi, hit that like button. Well, thank you, JD. Really appreciate the $2 super chat, but also, of course, the channel promotion. Then we have Kieran Patterson drops an $8 super chat. Wow, thank you so much for that. That is greatly appreciated. He says, the way Badbit talked about the adaptive controller made me smile. This is the type of thing gaming is about and is often overlooked. Well, thank you, dude. First of all, you see that, Mr. Badbit? You have another fan. Hopefully you subscribe to his channel, which is, by the way, premium content. And I suggest that even if you are an Xbox fan, he does talk about his stuff fairly. And if you have to subscribe to a so-called PlayStation dude, he is definitely the guy that I would recommend. And our good friend Smitty Smith drops a $5 super chat and says this: hello, Boom, Badbit in chat. Badbit, you are just fantastic of a human being and gamer. The Book of X.
The Book of X.
So
thank
look
you
at
so
that.
much, guys. Thank you for the kind words.
Again, I'm glad that you're going to be on Breakfast with Boom on a regular basis for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But like I said, dude, I told you this privately, and I'll say it publicly. I think what you bring to the table is special. I think that your honesty is fantastic, and I think that you can be critical on a particular company, but also reasonable and come at it from a thought process that isn't demeaning or devaluing the brand itself. So, so definitely good on you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, to me, I see a lot of people. I always want to be correct. I hate to say the word right. I want to be right because that's to me. I want to bring a level of correctness, level-headedness, and also conversations that are worth a damn. They might not get the clicks, but to me, it's about the, and I say it in every video, it's about the conversation. I'm here to tell you my thoughts on something, but then at the end of it, we have a conversation about it. It's never like you won't see, I don't know, Xbox most powerful thing in the world type of like content for me. You're just gonna see, well, what does the Xbox power of that console mean for the future of gaming? That's stuff like that. Trying to approach gaming in a more thoughtful manner rather than the clickbait manner. That's what I'm all about, gang. That's what I'm bringing to the table.
Well, it makes you a better content creator when you can do that. And obviously it clearly shows what kind of a gamer you are. But you know what? Getting back to Obsidian. They brought in some new talent, and basically, I always like to shout out where I pull my stories from because I think it's only right. Yeah. In a story that I pulled from GameRant.com, one of my favorite places to get information because I do like their writers. Obsidian Entertainment, the developer behind the games that we know and love, Fallout New Vegas and the Outer Worlds, has hired Jason Diaz to work on the upcoming AAA RPG project. Now, Diaz has previously worked on games such as Destiny 2 and Call of Duty, and is now joining Obsidian as their animation director. And that is no small position coming into Obsidian. And the original job listing posted by Obsidian on LinkedIn stated that the position would be that they would be working on a AAA next-gen RPG. Obsidian Entertainment has several projects in the works, though few details are known about most of them. Obsidian is working on Grounded, a smaller game, which of course has been compared to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But Diaz's project seems to be something else entirely. Now, this news was relayed to us by industry insider, and I'm a fan of his, Clobriel, who had this to say on the matter. He says Obsidian Entertainment as Xbox Game Studios has hired Jason Diaz as an animation director to define, document, and drive the vision for animation on a AAA next-generation RPG by Obsidian Entertainment. Previously, he worked on Destiny and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, among others. Now, in an article that I pulled from my personal and very good friends at Seasoned Gaming, they dropped a very interesting article that discusses the new unannounced AAA RPG that might sound really close to Fallout New Vegas' ideology when it came to building that game. Now, Obsidian, as we know, is working on multiple projects. And what we have heard is that this is going to potentially be a Skyrim-esque RPG from them. Now, here's the thing. We all wait to hear what's going to be happening with the next title in that long-running franchise, I have to be honest with you. The way that they've been putting out games recently, I mean, do we have confidence that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be amazing? I don't know, because their last game in Fallout 76 really wasn't that good.
Right.
So we'd like to believe that they're going to put out a quality project. But at the same time, Obsidian's last project, The Outer Worlds, was an effing masterpiece, without a doubt. So to think that they're going to take all of what they know how to do so well in a strong RPG, give it the AAA funding of Microsoft and goodness in being a first party, and then add to the mix a Skyrim-esque type of game, I got goosebumps, folks. So, Mr. Badbit, what are your thoughts on this AAA project that could potentially be Skyrim-esque, but the fact that they have a big-time AAA studio head now running the animation department?
So it tells me a few things. So I'll pick it apart piece by piece. First, it goes to show how interconnected this industry truly is, because we've seen like people from Naughty Dog write stories for Call of Duty. We've seen, people that made Dead Space make Call of Duty games out there at PUBG, Corp or whatever that company's called. And then we're seeing like stuff like this. Like it's awesome. It goes to show, I think, what I think is going to be the umbrella of games for Xbox is Halo, Gears, Forza, whatever Playground, the other studio at Playground's making, Ninja Theory, Hellblade 2, we already see that, and then the Outer Worlds, right? Yeah, Outer Worlds 2. That's already a staple of really great games right there.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds was a fantastic game for what I got to play of it, and it was, bar none, the smoothest experience for a game that was the likes of a spiritual successor to a Fallout or Elder Scrolls game. So hearing this, it definitely screams to me they're in either pre-production or they're just early into production, or probably early in production of Outer Worlds 2.
Yes.
And that they're making it of a bigger scope. And I really think Microsoft knows that they have something here, and they have an audience that wants it. Like, they've made deals. They've had a very close relationship with Bethesda, and those games sold particularly well on Xbox. So that genre does speak to Xbox fans. And I think that is a huge get. And I'm excited just to know that they're making this bigger and better than before, and that probably they wanted to make this game and Microsoft allowed them to. That's what really excites me, is we're seeing these creators do the things they want to do. Whether it's going to blow us away like, the Honey I Shrunk the Kids game, probably not, but they wanted to make it, so there they are, they're finishing it, right?
Yeah.
And now they're making this game, which is going to be a big budget. It's going to be a huge experience. That also excites me as well. And it puts the feet to the fire. And this is my last point here. It puts the feet to the fire of Bethesda. That they can't just keep churning out these buggy experiences. They were charming at first, but now they're old, they're tiresome, and people are expecting better. When you have people like CD Projekt Red making a game like Witcher and then looking at Fallout 4 going, yikes. And now you're seeing a game like Outer Worlds do it on the level, if not better than what you've already done with a smoother experience. It shows to me Bethesda needs to get it together.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that whatever it is Obsidian is going to work on with dragons, or in a Dungeons/Dragons I guess coat of paint, is going to be big. And if you look at, not only are they working on Grounded, a smaller title, I think it had like, I don't know, 10 or 12 people working on that game. Sure, the game is not going to be for a whole bunch of people. I hear you. But we also, what do we talk about just momentarily before getting into this particular massive topic, Mr. Badbit? We talked about the Xbox brand appealing to a wider audience. And Grounded by itself, sitting on just right there on the table, may not mean a lot to a lot of people. But is Grounded being focused at me and you? No, it's not. It's being focused at the crowd that's going to gravitate towards Minecraft Dungeons. And that crowd that they're going to be pushing Minecraft Dungeons and now Grounded are going to be the same crowd that find out that they can play these games on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $15 a month without having to buy a console, and play it on their tablet and play it on their phone, something that they're used to playing. So again, we have to look at the overall picture. We have to take off the diehard gamer, the rose-colored glasses, and actually see what's in front of us. And again, this is a picture that in the beginning, moving back to 2017, was very fuzzy in the distance. Now in 2020, we see the clear picture that they're going to be catering to everyone across the board. And they want gamers in that medium, in the medium of gaming, to range from old bastards like myself who can't wait to get the Series X, to the young kids that are still using their mom and dad's iPads.
Yeah. And again, that's the one thing that I do applaud Microsoft for doing, is trying to take their portfolio and go, we could be more than a first-person shooter and a third-person shooter and a racing game, right? We could broaden out. We could do something different. And, give Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, give it shit if you want, but those games look different. They play different. They're totally different from each other. They're kind of trying to do what like Nintendo has, right? Where they'll have a brilliant platformer in Mario, and then they'll give you an action game with Legend of Zelda, and then they'll give you a strategy game with Fire Emblem. Like, they do something different every year, and it's always fresh. And yeah, sometimes with the same IP, but it's always, or same IP in different genres, but it's always fresh. It's always fascinating. PlayStation right now has a winning formula. Their games do sell really well, but when you look at them, yes, they are. You know what you're going to get. They're all third-person open-world action games, right? For the most part, there are some deviations, but the most successful ones are that. PlayStation found their formula. They're sticking to it until it doesn't work. And right now, what Microsoft's doing is they're finding their formula.
Yes, that's a great point. That's a really great point, dude. Really,
and the biggest thing is they're diversifying as well. They know that they can't just hang on they can't just hang on the Master Chief, rest on their laurels, because that's what they found themselves in, this predicament that they're going out there and they're taking risks and they're doing things that are different. And that's what, again, the Phil Spencer Microsoft, yeah, you might not get all these, AAA bangers right now, but they're testing the water and they're seeing what works. And I gotta applaud them for that, man.
Yeah, and real quick, hold on. I shrunk it. Hold on just a second. I want to just give him a quick shout out because it was pretty interesting. Oh my God, where is it? Okay, here it is. Sam Walton. Big shout out for being here, dude. Thanks for being in the chat and watching the show live. And he says something very interesting, Mr. Bad. But he says Microsoft needs their next big IP that really draws in a lot of people to their console, both on the hardcore and casual spectrums. And that's a very well written statement, because yes, that's what they need to do. But at the same time, look, let's just say this, for instance. Take any of Sony's games. Now, I mean, listen, I'm going to take this. I'm going to go with this, because Horizon Zero Dawn is probably one of my... I know that I've been beating this drum, and I talk about Aloy all the time. I think she is an amazing new IP for Sony. I cannot wait to get the second part of Horizon Zero Dawn. Absolutely loved the tens and tens of hours I've played. I think I put 60 plus hours into that game and would regret nothing.
Right.
But we have to understand that only, and I don't mean it as being disrespectful, they've moved a significant amount of copies. I don't know if it's as much as Spider-Man. I don't know if it's 15. The last time that I saw, it was over 10 million, which is, listen, that's not a drop in a bucket by any stretch of the truth.
Yeah, it's the top selling first party or
new IP. Yes, absolutely. And for good reason. Yeah. But some people will say, well, when you verse the amount of consoles being, let's I don't know what they're at, 115, 117, maybe even 120 right now, it's less than 10% of the fan base. And that's a shame. That's a game that should have sold 25 million copies, in my opinion.
Right.
What I like Microsoft, why I appreciate the direction of Microsoft, and there's going to be people in this chat that we had 323 people watching live, which, by the way, oh shit, I can't believe it. That may disagree with me, but I like the direction that Microsoft is going, because they're not banking on one IP to gain a fan base. They're taking games from teams that normally will be shut down. Like, for instance, say what you want about Grounded. It's probably not for you, but it's for somebody. And that somebody, like we were talking momentarily ago, is that is for a different age group. It's for a different gamer mindset. That's not ours. And guess what? That's okay. Exactly. It's okay to have that.
When I hear people like, and it's on both sides, folks, where it's like Xbox people are like, man, like all PlayStation has is this, that, and the other thing. Like they need more first-person shooters, they need more third-person shooters. And then when you hear like PlayStation people go, oh, Xbox needs more open world games. They need, all these, narrative-driven games. It's like what you want the Xbox to be is just a PlayStation. And what Xbox folks want the PlayStation to be sometimes feels like they just want an Xbox. And what people gotta realize is like these companies are diversifying their portfolios. Like, Painted Gamer said, listen, they got Bloodborne, game of the generation. That's just a fact. But like they have their portfolio of games that speak to the audience that they want to capture. Doesn't mean they're capturing everybody, but they're capturing the genre of gamers that they want in their base. Of course, you want to have all the gamers you can have, but it's just not realistic. So to see Xbox go out there and kind of test the waters with their IP, it's awesome to see. And it's awesome to see, Sony make deals like Spider-Man, reimagine God of War the way they did, Bloodborne, game of the generation again. We're all, I'll bang that drum to the day I die. Like they're all doing their own unique thing. And that's the thing that I'm excited for.
That's why you have to own every console, in my opinion. I know it's not feasible for a lot of people financially. I get it. But I think that if you have the means, if you're able to do it, I'm not saying it makes you a better gamer. I'm saying it gives you choice to be able to say, well, this is where I play most of my games, but this new game came out for said systems B, and I want to play that game, or C system, that they have this, first party IP that looks like a lot of fun that I might enjoy, my wife might enjoy, and my kids might enjoy. So we get a chance to play together. So like I said, I see exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah. Video games are awesome. Doesn't matter where you play them.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But listen, what I like to do is I want to move into a smaller but yet fun topic. Okay. And this is going to be the last one of the day. Hopefully, everyone still hangs around, and I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Again, I got to be honest with you, folks. It was very difficult to put this show together, and Thursday's show might even not be as difficult because we have an Xbox show to talk about that's going to be happening today, at least on the East Coast at 5:00. So we're going to be discussing what exactly happened on Thursday's show. But right now, Microsoft is killing me because I wait by the bylines every Monday morning, like I'm waiting to be fed. Because I'm expecting that Phil Spencer is going to drop another bomb, and he's been holding back the last couple of Mondays. Yeah. So it's been the pickings have been slim for both Xbox and Sony news, and so this last particular one is a little bit silly. It's a little fun, but I want to talk about Xbox Game Pass and my personal pick of the week. Right now, I'm not sure how many people are into these types of games because it's very anime-esque, it could be considered a Japanese-esque type of game. I'm loving it. I'm already an hour into it. I absolutely adore it. And I'm talking about Nier Automata. That is now available in Xbox Game Pass. It released originally on the PlayStation 4 way back in 2017. Eventually came to Xbox. Was out for a while and now was on Xbox Game Pass. And it's an action role-playing game by Platinum Games, and it's been published by Square Enix. And I got to be honest with you, if you like Platinum, I think you're gonna really, really dig this game. I put up a tweet the other day of me standing in front of one of the bosses, where the boss literally took up the entire screen. And the character is a speck compared to the boss. And the boss battles, they're outrageous. They're as outrageous as you could possibly imagine. But if you like this game, has a lot of different genres. It sometimes goes side-scrolling. It sometimes goes top-down Diablo style. Most of the time, it's a 3D hack and slash type of game where it's got a bit of a shooting mechanic because you use the right bumper button. You have a robot buddy that shoots. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, Mr. Badbit, I don't necessarily know if I'm putting you on the spot, but is there anything in particular for Game Pass that you downloaded recently that you could possibly suggest to the gaming community, over 300 watching?
Oh God. So first and foremost, I love that Nier is on Game Pass because I am seeing so many people utterly blown away by this game.
It is a masterpiece.
Yeah, and like they wouldn't have experienced it otherwise. And that's the power of Game Pass. It's giving people the ability of going, it's here. Technically, just $15, let's do it. And seeing so many people utterly blown away by it. Fantastic. There's two games that I want to list off here. Both indies, both some of my favorite games of last year and the year before, I believe. Dead Cells.
Oh, that's a good one, dude. Hard as balls, but good.
So good. And that's, again, a game with a fantastic dodge. You're always going to get my money there. And then Creature in the Well, which is a awesome action puzzle game where you're the last robot and you're trying to save your civilization. Nice. And each room is a puzzle that is also kind of like pinball. So take pinball mixed with a lightsaber with puzzles, and that's what Creature in the Well is. And there's also boss fights in there as well. It's fantastic, and check it out. That's those experiences, those indie games are the reason why I love Game Pass. It's a reason why I admire or appreciate things like Apple Arcade. Get indies to more people. That's what I'm all about.
It's funny because on the back end of our picks, I kind of just wanted to address the elephant in the room for Game Pass, because right now, and again, this is, I try to write these shows based on current events. Current events right now on everyday life is COVID-19. And besides people being ill, besides people worrying about getting ill, people more specifically are financially challenged because they might have lost their jobs. They might have been laid off because their company closed. And the reason why I'm going to equate one with the other is because of the value that comes with Xbox Game Pass. And I'm not going to get a penny from Microsoft for trying to push this service. But my point is, as an Xbox show, I think that it behooves me as a host to push this, because right now there are a lot of games coming. Well, we don't know how many more games coming out past May. I think there's going to be a significant amount of delays. But right now, if you are on the unfortunate end of having to be unemployed, or someone that doesn't have a lot of money for new games like a Resident Evil 3 or a Final Fantasy 7 that comes out later this week, Xbox Game Pass has over 200 games. And I love the fact that you can go in there and plop down your $15. And I think right now, I think it's still available where it's $1 for a month to start. You can literally play as much as you want for the 30 days for $1. I mean, and we talked about it, the Outer Worlds being a game that you're going to put 60, 70 hours into for $1. Yeah. So, I mean, I know that it's not necessarily, the biggest topic of the day, but it's something that you might want to consider, that right now money is becoming a much harder proposition. And if you are a gamer and you do own an Xbox, I really think you should give Xbox Game Pass a shot, because I know there's a lot of detractors for it, Mr.
There are so many games there to distract you from what's going on. Because it's hard as a podcaster and as someone who covers PlayStation. It's like, what are we going to talk about this week? Oh God, everything's COVID related. It's like,
it's frustrating.
It's frustrating. Like, I'm not an engineer. I can't tell you if someone who made a tweet about PlayStation's overheating is accurate or not. I don't know. Could be, could not be. Like like the Last of Us delay. Like it sucks. Like it sucks.
I thought there was a glimmer of hope for a second. Where there was that slight glimmer that they were considering allowing it to be digital, but they just delayed it indefinitely. And they I don't know if you saw this, Mr. Bad, but this is something you're going to want to cover on one of your shows, or even do a video. That if you go to the PlayStation blog, it says they're refunding people's monies.
Yep. So that's a store policy that they're upholding, and big props to them, because
absolutely, for sure, especially in the time where money is
super tight and you need it for more important stuff. Like, that's awesome. Like, $1 billion company just gave hundreds, thousands of people refunds, a complete refund on the thing,
on both that and Iron Man VR, for that matter.
Yeah, so like, it sucks to be stuck in our homes. We were excited for Last of Us. Now it looks like it's going to be a cross-gen thing. But like, now you got all this free time, and there are these awesome services that are giving you games for like let's just throw Game Pass in there. Like $1, you get to play Nier Automata. And just escape the world for a minute. Like, that's awesome. That's the power of video games. That's what I'm excited about. It sucks that this is just the beginning of the delays, but I'm excited to see how we adapt as creators to what's going on here, and I think it's gonna make us better creators for that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Real quick, Sin Vendetta, good friend of the show, drops an additional $5 super chat and says this: question for Mr. Badbit. Have you played Neo 2 yet? And what are your thoughts if you have?
So, okay, let's get right into this. I just bought the collector's edition of Neo 2.
Dope.
I bought, what was it? Persona 5 and Resident Evil 3 on the Target buy 2 get 1 free sale.
Dude. Very nice.
Like talk about games that we're going to escape reality from. I've heard nothing but great things about Persona. I'm not a JRPG dude, but I'm going to give it a shot.
I bought the collector's edition and wind up selling it back. I tried. I put about 5 hours into it, and after like my 6th train ride, I'm like, you know what? It's just not for me. It's fine.
Yeah. That again, like, because JRPGs are very like instructional based, so I want to see if I'm the same. If I'll even give it 5 hours. But for Neo 2, I'm super excited. Neo 1 kicked my ass, so I want to go back. I want to give Neo 2 the time of day because you get to create your own character as well. You get yokai abilities.
Yes. Well, I mean, listen. I'll be honest with you. Is that sale still ongoing?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'll look it up.
Because that's interesting. I didn't even know they had a buy 2 get 1 free. That is dope. I love sales like that. You got to jump, especially nowadays. Take advantage of that. But look, I'll say this. First of all, we are crossed the 90-minute mark, and you know what? This has been a great show. Again, I know some of the topics may not have been the hot off the presses topics that we've been used to with these special edition episodes, but adding one additional Xbox show when there's news, eat piece of cake. When it's dried up like the desert, not so much. So I hope that everyone enjoyed it. I'm going to say this. If you did, please, on your way out, hit that like button. Obviously, we're all disappointed we didn't get, Luke back in here, but he'll be joining us next Tuesday as I continue to put on these special edition episodes to basically, and like I said when I first announced it, it's just basically to try and give the community something fun to listen to. Every now and again, I'll throw a rant in there. And then, like today, I apologize, especially with the bit of cursing, because I don't like to do it, but sometimes it's just got to bust out. I got to be the Hulk every now and again, and then I go back to being, Mr. Fix-It or Professor Hulk. It's fine. But listen, Mr. Badbit, first of all, it was great to have you on. I hope that we did you some a serious justice on coming and getting away with some of the bad news that you had today. Take away the world's issues for at least 90 minutes. Like I said privately, you bring a lot to the table. It is always a pleasure to work with you, and it honestly is going to make Breakfast with Boom that much better having you a part of that panel. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, but more importantly, check out your growing and fantastic YouTube channel.
So first and foremost, thanks for having me on. I like this. It's more intimate. It feels good. This episode felt good. I feel great afterwards. Heads up to everybody. Target still has the buy 2 get 1 free on the video games.
Nice.
And they show Animal Crossing there. And listen, if you want to get that to an animal that typically eats garbage, that's the game to do that. But yeah, go over there, have some fun if you have the cash to do that. You can find my YouTube channel. Here's my plug now. Over at Bad Bit Games on YouTube, where we talk about all things game news, reviews, and unboxings, and where we host the Trophy Room, where you can also find on iTunes, on Spotify, on Google Play, wherever you get your RSS feed, you can listen to a PlayStation podcast that talks about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation with my best friend Kyle, without having to shed on other consoles, because that's not fun, because we're all gamers.
Right.
That's what it's all about. So,
yes.
And lastly, also, if I could end on this rant, Boom, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I had a horrible day today.
Sorry to hear that, dude. Really,
last 4 days, I'm hearing people getting sick, people losing loved ones, and you're just stuck here at home. So the last thing that I need everybody to do, if you have that someone special in your life, or the people special, make sure you text them, call them, hug them if they're in your house self-quarantining with you. Tell them how much you care, because listen, time's a flat circle. Just tell the people that you love how much they matter, because at the end of the day, that's the real true thing that matters. So there you go. That's all my hippie rant for today.
I mean, listen, that's perfectly okay. I mean, listen, it's listen, and he's right. He's absolutely right. Right now, the isolation issue is becoming a problem for some. I am going to say that because technology is the way it is, reaching out to your family through video conferencing, through all the different apps that that are available at your disposal. My wife has been using the heck out of what the hell she's been using. Hold on a sec, I'll tell you right now. She's been Marco Polo. She's been using with her sisters and her cousin, and it's great. Again, I'm not getting a penny for every time I say Marco Polo, but I know that she's been really enjoying it because she's obviously close with her sisters and her cousin, and the fact that we can't get to anybody, or we're not supposed to get to anybody, it's a free app, so you might want to consider it. Again, it's just like Mr. Babbitt was saying, hug somebody, throw somebody an email, give somebody a call, set up a chat. We're all going to get through this. We all in this together, and eventually we will beat this, and we'll go back to the ways that we were before. Hopefully, better human beings as a whole. To be honest, I hope that we are all better for being actually good human beings, because the one thing that I will say about what's going on is that it's not isolated to race, creed, color, religion, or sexual orientation. It is a world epidemic, and it does not discriminate against anybody. So remember that if your health comes first, and help everyone else by adhering to the rules. I know some people hate rules. Hey, fuck rules. I hate it. I can't stand it. I want to go out and hug everybody. Right now, you can't do that, but we will get back to being able to do that. So stay at home if you can. Wear gloves. Wash your hands. Do go the extra mile to keep you and your family safe. And if we all do this, we'll be out and about doing our regular stuff in the next month or so, hopefully. And you know what? You'll be around to hear my next podcast, which is going to be on Thursday at noon, which, of course, is going to be the regular episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. So I want to thank everybody for being here. The chat, you guys and gals, were awesome. I know there was some bickering that I allowed to go on a little longer than I should have between certain panel members that had not panel members, chat members, but your opinion is your opinion. As long as you don't start swearing or bullying anyone, I will allow it to go on. But I want to thank everyone that donated for the super chat. Once again, your generosity completely blows me away, because I don't feel I'm owed anything. The fact that anyone donates is greatly and truly appreciated. And I want to wish everyone a great day, a safe day, and we will see you on Thursday on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. Take care, everyone.